You probably don't need $5 million to make work optional, and I'll prove it to you. 2 years ago, a client came to me with $2.1 million saved, a paid off house, and $90,000 a year in expenses. She was 44, doing everything right, and completely convinced that she needed $5 million in order to make work optional. So we ran the math together. For the first time in her life, she was actually already there. And she's not the exception, she's actually kind of the rule. I'm Justin Saffel, engineer turned investment advisor with over 13 million in client assets and founder of Financial Engineering School. I work with high-earning STEM professionals who want to make work optional on their timeline, not at 65. And the pattern I see is this. The problem isn't usually the savings rate. It's that nobody actually runs the numbers. Most people don't have a freedom number that have some sort of feeling. And the feeling you didn't calculate is your anxiety with a dollar sign on it. And so in this video, I'm going to show you what that real number or what the real math looks like and why the model most people are following, which was built like 90 years ago, doesn't actually fit your life. And then what your freedom number actually probably is, which is probably a lot smaller than the number you probably have in your head right now. And so fundamentally, the model is broken. So let's start there, because this is where I think everything goes wrong. The traditional plan looks like this. Get a job, save a portion of your income, max your 401k if you can, wait 40 years, stop working at 65, enjoy your golden years. But here's the thing about that model. Social Security was designed back in 1935. The 401k was created in 1978. The work until 65 framework was built decades ago with defined pension plans, limited investment options, and a completely different set of financial tools, not to mention income. It wasn't built for you. You're a high-earning STEM professional with access to tax-advantaged accounts and systematic investment strategies and probably 20 plus years of compounding ahead of you. You have tools that the model was never designed around. And yet the 1935 map is still in your head, and most people don't realize that they're following it. And so here's the real cost. So let's talk about what the map is actually costing you. Not in dollars, but in years. The World Health Organization puts the healthy life expectancy of the average American at 63.9 years. Now, how long you live, it's how long you live well, how long your body actually cooperates, the energy is still there, and for the most part, the world is available to you. And so let that land for a second. If you're planning to stop working at 65, you're actually trading most of that window for a paycheck. And that's not a retirement plan. That's just what people do because no one showed them a different way. The compounding that matters the most isn't necessarily financial. It's the years themselves, and those actually don't come back. And so let's talk about the math and this 4% rule. So what does the real math actually look like? The most tested benchmark we have is the 4% rule. And it comes from the Trinity study. It's a 1998 research paper by 3 professors at Trinity University. They tested the 30-year rolling periods of US market data going all the way back to 1926. And their conclusion was that withdrawing 4% of your portfolio each year has the highest degree of success over a 30-year retirement window. And so that math is pretty simple. And so the rule of thumb is to take your annual expenses and multiply by 25. That's your baseline freedom number. So if you spend $100,000 a year, your freedom number or starting point is roughly 2.5 million, not $5 million. And if you spend $80,000 a year, that's $2 million. So think about the difference that number is from the number that you have potentially in your head right now. But here's the thing, one formula isn't enough. So here's where most people stop. They stop at that 4% rule, but it actually has some real limitations. It was actually only designed for like a 30-year window. And if you want to make work optional at 50, you're probably looking at a 40 to 50-year window, and that changes the math. Also, it doesn't account for your specific tax situation, when you plan to claim Social Security, how flexible your actual spending is, how different account types are structured. A static rule applied to a dynamic financial life actually gets you in the neighborhood, but maybe not at the address. And so the 4% rule is a great starting point, but it probably shouldn't be your finish line. And so your real freedom number requires your actual tracked expenses, your tax picture, your account types, your timeline, all of it. Not a rule of thumb applied to an average person's average life. And here's what I see with most people over and over again. When someone runs it with real inputs, the target usually gets smaller. The timeline gets shorter. And so back to the woman that I mentioned at the beginning, the one who claims that she needs $5 million. When we looked at her real expenses, her Social Security projection, her account structure, her timeline, her actual freedom number was around 1.8 million. She had 2.1 million. She had crossed the finish line without knowing she had ever ended the race. And so the problem was never really the amount, it was the absence of the math and a 90-year-old model that just isn't a good plan. And so if you really want to run your actual numbers, that's exactly what we do inside of financial engineering school, and it's free. It's a community built specifically for high-earning STEM professionals who are done guessing and want to see the real math and what it says about their specific life. Look, most people come in and they run it and they find they're closer than they ever thought. And so the link's in the description below. Come on in, run your actual numbers. The number you've probably been chasing in your head probably isn't your number. It's probably something you absorbed somewhere else and never questioned it. And so you really got to run the actual math. And I think most people are surprised by what they find. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one.